So here we are. Alex is now dressed in her first outfit. So we're going to do some with her own hair, and then later with a pre-Raphaelite wig, which you can just see draped over the sofa.
Beautiful.
Let's have a look at those sleeves. Yeah, can you show them? All these costumes have come from the Nottingham community wardrobe, and they're absolutely fantastic. The blue velvet is my own, but the amazing jacket, I mean, the detail is just exquisite. When we first got chatting, we both decided that the portrait should be in my painterly style. That was the first thing we established, I think, because obviously I'm comfortable with that style. It's something that I do a lot, and I knew that if I was working with people I didn't know, at least I would know what style I was working with. So that was the first thing. And then when it came to working with people, I think we decided to go for older people because obviously I'm a full-time carer for my father who's 76. And through being with him daily, I've obviously have that natural affinity with older people anyway. And I find older people so much more fascinating. There's so many more stories to tell. You know, you look at magazines, front cover models are generally in their early 20s. I think the shelf life nowadays of a fashion model is something like 23. For instance, on TV, I mean, my dad says this all the time. We'll be watching daytime TV and he'll say, oh, life insurance adverts. You know, that's all you get, older people, life insurance. It's all about death and doom and gloom and get your free pen and whatnot, you know. So I wanted to work around the theme of beauty and life and vitality. I didn't want to work around doom and gloom and, you know, you're older, therefore let's wear black. I wanted to see the beauty in older people. And there's a lot of beauty there. There's an awful lot of beauty there, and there's a lot of life still there. We're all in the same boat, aren't we, really? We're all just living life, whatever age we are. So here is Alexandra in her garden. She's a pre-Raphaelite maiden. I'm going to get closer so you can see. Beautiful headdress. I've sat her amongst the plants. Are you having fun so far, Alexandra?
I am.
Good, good. But yeah, I started with my dad's portrait because I thought this is quite similar to do my own portraiture, because obviously I know my dad pretty well now, don't I? And we could obviously shoot at home, so it was still my comfort area. It was still the wall that I was used to shooting against. I could have a play around, and then if that worked, then I knew that I probably would be able to do it with other people. But you're okay, aren't you, Dad?
Yes.
Give us a big smile. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
You enjoy getting dressed up?
Yes.
We had lots of tea breaks though, didn't we?
Oh.
And we had music on, can you remember?
Oh yeah, a lot of languages, don't we?
I actually use music quite a lot in some of the shoots, like only on my mobile phone, but I would play like music that I thought would suit the period. I didn't do this for all of them, but for some of them, like for Chloe's shoot, we used kind of Middle Ages music and tavern music, old tavern kind of music. And I think we did that for our shoot as well, didn't we? We had medieval music playing in the background.
Yes,
and I had some incense burning as well, so you could feel like he was in the era. You had a dust bag put on your head, that was nice of me, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
But also using the costumes, it's a weird thing, because instead of stripping somebody bare down to their soul, I've kind of piled it all on to produce something else. I think the minute I put a different costume on them, or, I mean, one of my participants actually held a mask. Yeah, he makes masks and he had a mask there. But I think once you become somebody else and you don't have the pressure of your own life around you, suddenly you're just free and quiet and in the moment. And that's something I witnessed repeatedly. It was a strange process because you think it would have the opposite effect, but it didn't actually. It calmed people down because they didn't have to worry about who they were. They could just be in that moment. Yeah, it was beautiful, and that's what you get with art, I think, when you go and see the great masters. You know, you just feel in that moment for the time that you're looking at the art, and that's how they were when I was shooting them. They were completely free and in the moment, as a result of costume, which is something I didn't expect, but then I should have done, because that's how I am when I do my own self-portraiture. I feel so free when I put on a costume. Don't have to worry about how my legs look, how my hair looks, or whatever. I'm something else, I'm somebody else.
If you look at the way a lot of the Dutch masters painting did their work, and the way that Dutch society viewed portrait paintings, it was a much more egalitarian approach to this country, and I think she has that vision that this type of style should be for lots of people and not for certain people. And I think it was bringing that type of egalitarian Dutch way of approaching portraiture. I think that drives the vision as much as the style of work, and it's sort of, which I don't know whether it's part of the work, but it drives it as much as everything else as a style. There is a whole generation of people in St Anne's because we've had interesting lives in because St Anne's over that 60 years has changed so much.
Some princess.
Well, to be fair, you look like some princess, you really do. And you look so tranquil as well. How did you achieve that pose and that state of mind?
Well, I do quite a lot of breathing techniques, and I just decided to do my breathing techniques, calm down, and just go for it. Just try and be as natural as I can possibly be.
One of the things that people don't talk about as much is when they talk about inequality, they talk about structural things, but the difference in somewhere like West Bridgford to St Anne's is there's a whole cultural support network that goes alongside that. So the kids are encouraged to experiment, and which doesn't happen as much because if you haven't got the family who understands the art or wants to do it or wants to encourage it and just says, well, it's quite difficult, really, and that type of thing, then you've not had that history and that confidence to experiment, to try things. And I think part of what you're doing is bringing that culture from a different community into and encouraging stuff. There's a lot of art that comes out of those communities, I think, which is just drives on anger, which is good as well. But I think sometimes there's a different approach.
Yeah, but having a team of people around me that knew what they were doing, that was incredible. Just having people to go to, like I say, Jagdish, Susanna, yourself hiding behind the camera right now. But when I had my little meltdowns, it was always wonderful to have somebody to go to and say, not quite sure how to do that, I'm not quite sure how to do that. It was wonderful to have the right people to go to.
And I think she had a vision of what she wanted it to look like, and I think we went on a journey to try and think of her to realise that, and the end result where we backlit something to replicate a bit more like the screen was a learning process which went along. But
because it was always for me a very private thing. Not private as in I didn't want people to see my work, because as I say, I've always shared my portraits, but private because it was something I did for me. Whereas this has been other people's stories and other people's journeys.
I know she needed was someone to just support her along the way, and it could have really been, when she went to one of the printers, it was almost like, well, what do you want? If you can't tell us what you want, we can't do it for you. It's just an impression. It could be quite easy to kill the project in that way, because it could have that long conversation, and all it did is it just took a few people to think about what she's trying to do and then help her do it in the way, I think.
And also because I've got all the time in the world when I do my own portraits, I can take time out, I can go in my living room. If I'm not happy, I can have a tea break, I can come back. When you are working to a structure on a certain day, you have to go along, you have to get the portrait done. It was wonderful working with older people, because if we're going back to the subject of beauty, I've found, and I say this as a woman myself, that as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more confident in who I am. And I don't think it's a confidence as in, oh wow, I'm more beautiful now. I think it's a confidence as in, this is acceptance now, actually. I just accept who I am, whatever, whether I feel beautiful or not, I just accept who I am. And I think that was what I got from a lot of my participants was, yeah, I know I'm wrinkled, or I know I'm this, or whatever, I've got scars, but actually, this is who I am. Let's just crack on with it. And I think that was where the beauty came from.